Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and College Process. Once again, I'm Ed from Principia Prep, and today we're going to be going over how to fill out the FAFSA form without social security numbers. But before we start, if you are new to the channel and are looking for additional college content, please hit the subscription button down below. It will notify you when new videos do come out, as well as just give you some information. We are still running the James Russo Memorial Scholarship, so if you're looking for scholarship help for your students out there, or if you want to help our organization increase our scholarships we give out every year to seniors graduating high school and going off to college, please watch. In the description down below is the link to the James Russo Memorial Scholarship, explaining how our scholarship program works here at Principia. As well as also in the description down below is also our Venmo, as well as the organization's Buy Us a Coffee, if you want to help support the channel, allowing us to keep making these college videos for you guys out there. And all that being said, let's jump right into today's video, how to fill out the FAFSA form without social security numbers. Now, before we begin, I just want to clarify this entire situation because there seems to be a little bit of confusion here when filling out the FAFSA form when you don't have social security numbers. Now, what I mean by that and what the U.S. Department of Education means by that is this. If the student is a U.S. citizen and they have a social security number, or if they have a permanent residency here, then based on those two factors, they're allowed to fill out the FAFSA form because they're the ones that matter, not the parent. So when everyone talks about filling out the FAFSA form without a social security number, they don't mean the student, they actually mean the parents. Which means you fill out the FAFSA form, you get the FAFSA IDs, the FSA IDs for both the student and the parent. However, the student will be using their social security number and also their permanent resident number to fill out their portion of the FAFSA. But if you watch my other videos, you already know the FAFSA form is technically now 3 different forms. It used to be just one form. You started as a student, halfway through the student's form, you put the parent stuff in, and then you were done. Now the FAFSA form is technically 3 different parts. Now of these 3 different parts, you once again start off as a student filling out their FAFSA form. Once you complete that, you send an invitation to the parent asking them to contribute to your FAFSA form, which technically is the second FAFSA or the parent FAFSA form. Then the third part is what I like to call the third FAFSA is the My Activity section, which is kind of like a catch-all to show you what's going on, as well as to go in there to see if there's any errors and things need to be adjusted or changed or fixed by the parent or the student after you do the student FAFSA and the parent FAFSA. So now that we got that out of the way and we know the student has to be a U.S. citizen or have permanent residency here, let's talk about how to fill out the FAFSA for the second part, which a lot of you guys are having problems with, when the parent doesn't have a social security number or doesn't have permanent residence here or doesn't have anything, let's call it basically. Now, the way it works is there's basically 3 different ways to kind of resolve the situation. And I'm going to go over all 3 of them here for you guys and how I resolve the situation going forward. Now, right off the bat, the biggest problem is right now on the FAFSA form, it's not letting you push through if the parent doesn't have a social security number. So what first things you need to do is obviously before you fill out the FAFSA form is you need to make sure both the student and the parent have FSA IDs. Both of you guys need IDs to be able to fill out the form. Now to get the IDs, if the student already has a social and everything else, you can go into the studentaid.gov site, click up here to create an account. I'll show you guys here. When you click on that, it's going to ask you to get started and the student can fill out an account and get a student FSA ID. Now if you're having a problem getting the student FSA ID or getting the parent's FSA ID because of the social security number or permanent residency or whatever the issue is, the first thing I'm doing is I'm calling the FAFSA 1-800 number. When you call the 1-800 number, there's actually a person that'll walk you step by step with achieving getting the IDs, getting the accounts, because to be able to send out the information, you need to have both the student and the parent to have IDs now. And the U.S. Department of Education has been saying, and it has been happening because I've had some people actually do this already, that don't have socials. If you call the hotline, they help you out with getting the IDs. Now, the U.S. Department of Education has been saying they're having a lot of issues with the parents not having documentation or socials, etc. So what I would be doing right now is what I'm telling everyone to do is wait until we get some information from the U.S. Department of Education. They have been saying, and by the way, every Sunday they do updates and maintenance on the FAFSA to try to get it better, to make it work. Now, I know some of you have issues because you have state deadlines coming up, and I know a lot of students in this situation typically stay in state. Now that being said, if your state deadline is coming up, I would wait until the final moments, basically like a day before the state deadline, to see if the FAFSA will be resolved with the issues. They are talking about March 15th being a big date where they're going to resolve a lot of these issues. If they are able to resolve that, I'd rather you wait and then take the 2 IDs you guys have and submit your FAFSA so it's a clean situation. It's all done, it's all signed, it's all online, so it's time stamped and everything's in there. There's no issues to resolve later on. Other way of doing it, the second way of doing it is what the U.S. Department of Education came out this week and said, and their new thing is telling people send the FAFSA out with just a student signature without the parent signature and basically force it through. Now, I'm okay with this idea as far as a second idea of sending it out after you've waited as long as you can. If you can't wait anymore because the state deadlines are coming up or the college deadlines are coming up, I utilize this step because of the fact that I'd rather get it in there and get it wrong and get it timestamped showing you've already submitted it. But I'm always going to defer back to I'd rather wait for the U.S. Department of Education, process number 1, to get everything done and resolved, and then let me send it out. If I can't wait, then I'm taking step number 2, filling out everything with the student's information and then just submitting it without the parent's signature to get it timestamped. And then the third way to kind of resolve the situation or take care of the situation is contacting the colleges you're looking to go to. Letting them know their financial aid office you're still having issues filling out the FAFSA, and what's their latest deadline they'll accept the form for institutional grant aid availability. Now remember, there's 3 different people giving you aid here. The state you reside in, if you stay in the state with where you are, and the colleges within that state. This federal government, obviously the U.S. Department of Education, will give you aid if you're available anywhere you go in the country, by the way, even outside the country. As well as the third here is the institution itself. Now when it comes to all 3 of these guys, all 3 of them have their own funding available to help you. They also have their own deadlines. Now, technically, the federal government's deadline is way down the road here. You can actually fill out the FAFSA in December of the student's freshman year and still get aid in that academic year for the federal government aid. So there really is no deadline there per se. But the state deadlines are hardline deadlines. So if you're looking to get state aid and you got to get it in, I'm probably following the second step and just forcing it through just in case, unfortunately, if I can't get everything in because of the fact that the U.S. Department of Education hasn't fixed things yet. But if you're not looking at state aid and you know you're not going to get state aid wherever you reside, or you're leaving the state you reside in, then I would be contacting directly the college and ask, how much time can I wait here? What's the latest date you accept it? And once again, the FAFSA is not going through, it's not working. Remember, all the colleges keep pushing back their deadlines for FAFSA as well as their deadlines for deposit, for admissions, because they know the FAFSA is not working. So my whole thing is, I like idea number 1, so basically wait until the last moment, try to get it when everything is fixed. Is if you don't need state aid, is going with the third option here, which is basically just calling the schools and figuring out what's the latest deadline you accept the FAFSA. Can I do this in late March? Can I do this in April? Will you even accept this in June in case nothing is working out, let's call it. And then of course, the second step, the second process is if I can't wait, if I have a looming deadline, it's right there, I don't want to miss a deadline. I'm going to just basically send it in with all the students' information and just force it through without the parent's signature. Now, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave us a like and a comment down below. It does help the channel. Now, all that being said, if you guys have questions or concerns, you guys can always reach out. I do help out a lot of parents in the process with both the financial aid forms and admissions and so on and so forth. And on the screen is my contact information. So if you need help, just reach out. Right there is my cell phone number. The best way to reach me, by the way, is text message. Texting me is the fastest way to reach me. You can email me, that's the organization's email as well. And you can call as well, but typically texting me is the fastest way to reach me. And other than that, thank you for watching our video today. Once again, my name is Ed from Principia Prep.